For me, art has always been a healing medicine. It is a way of restoring a personal sense of well-being, and it's never been more important than this year of pandemic. A forecast for human survival lists 5 existing threats: quarantine, food shortage, global power struggles, cybercrimes, including fake news and hackers, and a generation exile, mass migration as a result of environmental problems. Never before has there been such a need for creativity. It is the survival of humanity. Although artists are unable to produce a vaccine, they must fully serve a social role. Through their art, they provide philosophical and artistic community, which is capable of preventing the collapse of social communities. And amid this common crisis of humanity, art's ability to draw out empathy can help connect and minimize those 5 threats. Thanks to digital technology, a wave of information is connecting an artist with a city and nature and technology with human sensibilities. The fundamental question of how to redefine art relationships has never been more important. The new calling of art is to ask the crucial question: how to preserve humanity? What differentiates human beings from a robot? And an environment must be created in which imagination goes beyond the boundaries of 3D printing or virtual beauty or artificial intelligence. The pandemic has truly been a reset. There is a whole new conversation going on in the art world today. And that's what I want to tell you about. The huge, shiny sculptures of Jeff Koons and the wall-sized photographs of Cindy Sherman, oozing with luxury and cynicism, are out. Tastemakers are pivoting away from the abstracts by Gerhard Richter and coy conceptual John Balzeri pieces in favor of work that echoes issues being raised in the realms of social justice and social media are replacing. Street art and art shows find a new gig as galleries in big cities chase buyers with pop-up spaces. Here's an example of a pop-up space in New York, which has been transformed from a vacant storefront to a living piece of art with a performing artist. Now, does it work? Does pop-up art sell? Yes, it does. Here's an example of Hulda Guzman from an artist under 35 in New York that needs to be watched and paid attention to. These are her self-portraits. She was a pop-up artist. Also, Vanna Lamb, who folds canvas, very much like we would fold a piece of paper, is now, from her first pop-up experience, to being shown in many galleries. Christie's and Sotheby's are losing executive directors right and left. Auction houses hustle to capitalize on an entirely new asset of a class of digital artworks. Rashid Johnson's fame was created by being included on digital artworks, and he now is collected in the Met. And selling has gone online too. Sotheby's built an online forum that produced 1.5 billion in private sales this summer. So what is moving the art world now? What new forms of art are there? Anika Yi creates from live matter and bacteria custom scents designed and derived from carpenter hands and sweat samples. The Tate Modern in London opened this October with Yi's artificial intelligence powered machines making historical scentscapes. These scents are meant to take the viewer back to pre-Cambrian times. Simon Denny's Re-Examining Creativity with the audience experience through not unlike video games. Remember Minecraft that your children may have played, where you could develop your own story. These pieces are reaching people through Facebook and Instagram, which is a much larger audience than a gallery can ever provide. The internet is far more accessible than a Soho gallery, and it is a live canvas. The idea that artworks are completed once and for all is no longer tenable. Current, a Polish artist, feels art should evolve like living organisms and physically react to changes happening in society and in the world. Conversions, as seen here, is a series of ever-morphing paintings that uses data from social media feeds belonging to different protest movements, like Black Lives Matter and the Poland's women's strike. These posts are fed via computer to copper plates, which cause evolving colorful patterns known as crystal paintings. We may know them better as a mood ring. Julie Moretu at Whitney creates frenzied landscapes, urban and socio-political changes, and was voted one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential artists of 2020. Sangha Megudi, the name itself means here women combines found object sculpture with performance at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Wang Shi Mutu gives us strange, morphed female figures of landscape, animal parts, and found objects. Faith Ringgold, a prophet, activist, and visionary, but foremost a quilt maker, shows us the flag is bleeding in her quilt. The testing, probing, and rethinking of new visions, new works, new voices, new art, as it is a truism of the old world. It forced us into uncomfortable places. Way back in 1987, Andre Serrano depicted a plastic crucifix emerged in a small glass tank of the artist's urine. It was called Piss Christ and was displayed at the National Museum of Art as a photograph. It raised so much displeasure in 1987 that people tried to destroy it, and he was asked by the government to remove it from the gallery in Washington. Challenged assumptions, as in Oliveira's, who posed naked in front of Luncheon on the Grass at the Louvre in 2019. He also was removed from the museum. All refashioned basic ways of seeing. Marina Abramovic at MoMA in 2010 seated herself, inviting guests to gaze at her for 15 minutes, and she would gaze back. No words were spoken. No one got up and left, but some laughed and some cried. Attendees waited in the line 4 blocks long in New York City to just take this opportunity for performance art. The pandemic and its 5 threats has called everything into question. But what of our old icons? What of the voices that made us feel transfigured? What about the people that we knew when we first began to look at art? Well, those familiar people are still with us, but now they have traveled a long way. Van Gogh's Starry Night could not be brought more into the future as it tours the world in all its video splendor. Ceilings, walls, and the floor of the galleries are covered with Van Gogh work. As you enter the gallery, you exist in starry, starry night. Feel all the emotion and motion that the artist put into the painting. You leave walking with his Japanese geisha. You feel his brush strokes on your body and you see his blend of colors. The old guy's made new with technology. The IMA is planning to continue this trend with our old friends, Monet, Seurat, Cezanne, and on and on. But by far, Barbara Kruger, in her current show at the Art Institute in Chicago, now through January 22nd, with text-driven political insights, shows best the cultural blight and offers progressive thinking. At 76, her work is still timely. It's a kind of label. We look at this work of bold sans serifs and fonts and slap it on our refrigerator in magnets. If anyone can make sense of what is happening in art, it's Kruger with her textual message. But what really matters will the truths she puts before us to make us operational in this new world as part of the intellectual art game? Will it be heard and internalized? We can only hope so. I hope you've enjoyed my incredible moment of what I think is important in the future of artwork. Thank you for listening and enjoy art.